And we're live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another 27 Outs Live here on this lovely Tuesday night. I am Ivan alongside Stefan, and we are here yet again. Shout out to everyone who has been rocking with us. We have received a lot of love over the past week or so. We really appreciate it, man. And you guys are not going to hear the end of that. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Stefan, I went to the gym earlier today, and I'm heading back home, and I see the speculation. I reach out to you. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Is it really true that Cody Bellinger has been traded to the Yankees? Tell us everything about it, bro. How you feel, your thoughts, everything.
So, want to know what's funny is I literally just got out the shower and I'm like, oh, this is real. This is a real thing. Like he's a Yankee and um listen, how I feel about the deal is very, very, very this had to happen. That's my feeling on it. It was just a matter of time before it did happen. This kind of felt like one of those things where you're like, all right, who's gonna blink first? Who's gonna really realize like, yo, this needs to happen? Because the more and more I sat back and thought about it over the weekend, I talked to you a bunch and different people. Like Chicago was in a no-win situation. They had to move on from him. The roster just felt like it was complete. Like Seiya Suzuki was gonna be the left fielder. They have the kid Michael Bush playing first base, so they have options. And it felt like the Yankees had to do this at this point in everybody's respective lives. Like the Yankees are looking for versatility on defense. They're looking for a left-handed bat with some level of power, and he's also looking to regain his old form, trying to regain his not his MVP form, but at least be a more comparable offensive player. And he wasn't going to do that at Wrigley Field. So it feels like both sides had to come to some sort of amicable agreement. And one thing I will say, and a lot of this is just speculation on my part, and I know that, but I'm just going to throw this out there to begin with anyway. It felt like both the general managers had to get on the phone. Like the assistant GM wasn't going to do it on both sides. Like, let's get Jed Hoyer and Brian Cashman on the phone. Like, hey, what is it going to take to get this done? Because I think they were working on other things, right? Like, you've been hearing the Cubs connected to the lefty Jesus Luzardo out of Miami. And I
Right.
feel like that's where most of their focus has been for the last, I want to say, 4 to 5 days, right? So when you see that and you're like, yo, maybe it's the fact that, yes, they're haggling over money, but to me, it also comes down to when the two GMs get to talking and there's real conversation, and it's not the two assistant GMs haggling over prices and what would fit best and all that type of stuff. Nah, this is like, yo, this has to happen. It has to happen now. And this is what it looks like as we continue to take shape. So I think finally today, if I had to take a guess, and this is purely speculation on my part, this is a guess. I would guess that both general managers, Jed Hoyer and Brian Cashman, got on the phone and said, all right, man, like, come on. Like, we've been,
Let's
we've
let's
been,
stop playing ring around the rosy over the phone and let's get this
right.
thing done.
Let's
Yeah.
get this wrapped up because we know you need them and we know you can't keep them. So let's stop playing hardball. Let's get realistic with our expectations, and we'll get a deal done. And to be honest, I think the Yankees did fairly well. I think Chicago did as well as you were going to do. Cody Petit is not going to start for the Yankees in any sort of serious situation. I don't believe, and I also believe that at some point you had to consolidate the 40-man roster. Cody Petit is going to be somebody that was going to take up a 40-man roster spot. So the Yankees had to move on from him because you realize, you know what? We don't have that many 40-man roster spots available, right? Like, you got to do something for Max. Max is officially signed. Devin's going to need a roster spot. Whatever moves they make, they're still going to have to consolidate more roster spots, which is why they made the trade with the Red Sox last week for the catcher that they traded to Boston. So The Yankees right now are in consolidation mode. They're in acquisition mode, but they're also in consolidation mode. And as for the Cubs, like it's like okay, like we like the player. We like the player. We had him for a few years. He didn't really do what we expected him to do last year. And also, if we could get another arm out of it and we can send you $5 million, I think it's a win-win for both teams. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. If somebody were to tell me as soon as the Yankees missed out on Juan Soto that they would follow that up with a plan B that includes signing Max Fried, trading for Devin Williams, and also trading for Cody Bellinger, I mean, I would have signed up for that with no problem. And here
Mm-hmm.
we are today with that being our new reality, especially for Yankee fans. And shout out to everybody who's watching right now.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. But yeah, this was something that we had talked about, last week on a couple of lives. For those of you who were tuned in, I'm sure you heard Stefan and myself get into that. And
Mm-hmm.
like Stefan said, it was a want for both teams, and it was really just a matter of time as to when they were finally going to say, "Listen, let's just get it done and screw with the hell with the rest."
Right, and at some point, I think negotiations always come down to, yo, I know we've been posturing here for a little while. We've been trying to see if we could get you to blink. Obviously, we're not blinking, right? Like nobody's blinking. So at some point, you would like to believe that there was going to be a deal that was going to be struck where both parties would at least been, listen, you're not going to, no trade is perfect, right? Like no trade is going to be like one side is more thrilled than the other. And when it does happen, on the rare occasion that it does happen, both sides end up really happy. Usually trades are one-sided. So in this instance, I think both teams did really well because you ended up with Kyle Tucker if you're the Cubs. Like Kyle Tucker is the prize you wanted. You got him, and Bellinger felt expendable after that. He didn't feel like he was needed after they acquired Kyle Tucker. So they got the deal done. And the next thing for for the Cubs is Jesus Luzardo. Do you pull the trigger? Do you finish that off? And do the Cubs then turn around and make another trade because they have four lefty starters? Do you make another trade where you package one of those lefty starters in a deal for something else you might need, whether it's bullpen help, another bat? They're looking at third base,
Yeah.
so they have options. They have
One
options.
thing that I do want to get now that we're live tonight, Stefan, and we talked about it off the air, but
Mhm.
it's already been made public that you said Cody Bellinger is going to be playing center field for the
Yes.
Yankees next season. Now, this obviously means that the Yankees are still seeking a first baseman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it would be interesting to see where they go next, especially when trying to fill in another hole.
Well, they're casting a wide net when it comes to first base. Christian Walker, Carlos Santana, Pete Alonso, Anthony
Yeah, I've
Santander.
I've had I shout out to a few of my friends as well earlier today. When the Cody news broke, and some of them then started talking about first base. They were saying that Carlos Santana was a guy that they would be interested in if they were the Yankees. But
Mm-hmm.
listen, man, I get that he's been able to play for
Mm-hmm.
this long. But 39 years old, I get it. He won a Gold Glove with the Twins. He's still doing it somehow. But
Mm-hmm.
listen, man, for what the Yankees are at least expected to do, and I would hope that they're anticipating this for themselves, is
Right.
to go on yet another deep playoff run, right? And I don't really
Mm-hmm.
think the smartest thing to do is sign a 39-year-old first baseman, even if it's for 1 year. It just doesn't make sense.
That's. I mean, listen, but this is what I'm saying. They're casting a wide net. They're not limiting their options. Goldschmidt, they talked to. Santana, they've talked to. They've talked to Pete Alonso. They've talked to Christian Walker, who they like a lot. Who I believe, now that the Cody deal is finalized, the Yankees are gonna circle back and be like, "Hey, man, what does it look like?" I think if I had to guess right now, if I'm a betting man, I'd say first base is down to Pete Alonso and Christian Walker.
I agree. I was waiting for you to finish there because I was going to say the same thing. I think it comes down to Christian Walker and Pete Alonso. Now, if I were to sit here and tell you What would I really like as a Yankee fan?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, I don't know what the Padres are looking for. I'm sure it would not be cheap, but I would be ecstatic if they were to go out of their way to land a Luis Ariz.
The problem with that is, right, I don't know what AJ's asking price is.
Yeah, right.
And AJ Preller, the general manager of the San Diego Padres, I don't know what his asking price is. So the last thing I want to do is get into a bidding war with a dude that's diabolical. Because AJ Preller could turn around and ask you for fucking Roger Arias or Aries, the young phenom shortstop that the Yankees got in the system, that I'm sorry, I'm not willing to give up. Even if it's for a proven player like a Luis Ariz, because knowing AJ Preller, he's diabolical enough, will ask for that. I'm not saying he'll ask for it off the rip, but he'll ask for that at some point. He's gonna, like, that's why to me, money is always easy to give up than prospect capital. Money is always easier to give up. So if you're telling me I gotta give Christian Walker a 3-year deal with an option for a fourth at anywhere between $20 to $25 million a year, I'm gonna do it. If you're telling me Pete Alonso is gonna cost me 5 years at 100, maybe 120 if I'm lucky, I don't love it, but I'll do it.
Right.
When you talk about dealing with a guy like AJ Preller is gonna ask you for something. And here's the thing. I like the way your head works. Folks, he's becoming like me. You're becoming a diabolical human being. Because they've done work. They've done work. They just did the Soto thing. So AJ's very familiar with the system. Brian's very familiar with AJ. And usually when you have got two GMs that have done deals, they become bedfellows. Like, all right, bro, I know what you want. I know what you need. Let's see if we can come together and make this work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I could see that. Now, I'm thinking of a bigger fish. Right? Because if I'm calling AJ Preller for anything, his first name starts with an F.
Fernando Tatis.
And we ain't getting off the phone until I figure out if that's real or not.
I mean, I didn't want to go to that, extent, but yeah,
I mean,
Tatis is more than likely going to be available as well.
At some point, yeah. I don't know if it's this year, but at some point he's going to be available. So, Listen, if you want to make me forget about losing Juan Soto, which I'm pretty much over already, but if you want to make me feel euphoric at the idea that Juan Soto was never a thing, go get me Fernando Tatis Jr., put him in right field, and trade two of these kids for some real, like crazy,
that would be insane, dude.
Pitching that changes.
Like you never know what could happen these days, but after what the Yankees have already done to this point in the offseason,
right?
If they were to end it off with that, that's saying a whole lot. Honestly.
The one thing I will say, right, is Cash is always gonna make moves that we're not expecting, right? Like, always understand this, right? Like, Cash is the king of, yo, there's a move out there to be made. I don't know what it is yet, but once I find it, it's a wrap, right? So I could see Cash just circling. Yo, you want to move, old boy? I bet. Come back to us when you see it. I'm not saying that it's happening right now, but Cash has been known. Like, Devin Williams came out of nowhere. I didn't have that. Nobody had that. That's just Cashman just circling the
only
Sharks.
Thing that you and I had earlier this year was the fact that the Brewers would want to move on from him at some point. We did have that for sure months ago. Now, whether the Yankees were going to be the team to acquire him is a completely different story. But clearly that's what happened.
27-ounce cup available soon. You know what I mean? But this is going to be in the online shop for you guys. Just had to show that. So the non-people watching, what's up, man? Get some comments in here. Get some likes in here.
Follow us on Instagram at 27ounce3C and make sure you definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel.
For sure. Listen, I'm not saying it happens, but I do think that this Cody Bellinger acquisition opens up the idea that the Yankees now turn around and say, the world's our oyster. We can go get Pete Alonso if we want to. We can go get a Christian Walker if we want to. We can go do all different types of things. And to me, I think the Yankees have the pick of the litter. Because you can do one or two things. You can trade for a pitcher. You can trade for another bat.
Which I'm hoping that they do.
you can do a lot of different things in the coming weeks, days. Like you can do a lot. And so I will tell you this. I'm in love with the idea that, you know, there could be a choice where the Yankees say, you know what? We can literally do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We can literally do whatever we want because we have options. And that's the one thing you want as a front office is options, right? Everybody says, "Oh, I want player X, or I want player Y, or I want player B." You can literally do whatever you want, right? Like, and the one thing I'm wanting to see, and I want your opinion on this, is like, okay, if Cody's playing center field, to me, if you're gonna play the Martian in left, I gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at with the Martian right now. Not to say that I don't believe that Jason Dominguez doesn't have a spot on this roster, because I think he does eventually. To the 14 people watching, what's up? Hit that like, hit that share button, hit that subscribe. You know, all that's very possible, right? Like, I'm not going to assume that none of this is possible, because it is. But the question I would have for you, right? Because what are you doing next? Is it whatever comes across your desk, or are you trying to do something that says, all right, I'm trying to fill a hole over here? Or let's say that the next move for Brian Cashman is Alex Bregman, when nobody's thinking that he would do that. Because sometimes these executives do it. And I want your thoughts on this. They'll zig when everybody says they should zag, right? So everybody's mindset is, yo, first base, first base, first base, first base, first base. Well, I think Cash might turn around and be like, nah, I really want Alex to go here. I really want to move Jazz to second, and I'll just play Ben Rice at first. Or if Pete Alonso's out there, whoever's out there, I'll go get him on a cheap deal. I'll go get Christian Walker on a cheap deal. I just think we have to be prepared for every single possible scenario.
Yeah.
To that you say what?
Yeah. So in terms of options, the one thing that the Yankees could say, which they haven't been able to say for quite some time now, is they definitely have options when it comes to the starting rotation, right? Like, quite frankly, if the Yankees really wanted to, they could even let go another guy if they really wanted to.
They could, yeah.
To maybe use a starting pitcher such as a Marcus Stroman, like we talked about.
Yeah.
To be a guy who you're not paying for what it was that you were paying for Marcus Stroman to have him on a team, but rather now whatever it is that you would be able to get in return. You know, I think I would love for them to focus on that. Now, would it surprise me, as you mentioned, Stefan, if another pitching trade or they acquire another pitcher? That is something that they have up their sleeve because of Brian Cashman just doing whatever he wants at this point. But that's because he has to. You know, he has no other choice.
Right. And here's the thing. If we're going to talk about run prevention and defense and the way they're trying to build this team, here's a sick thought. If Corbin Burns is not going to get the 6, 7, 8-year deal that we're assuming that he's going to get, if it's 3 years at $45 million a year, which is $135 for 3 years, if I'm the Yankees, I'm throwing my hat directly into the middle of the ring. Yeah. Come on. I'm building the best rotation in the league. Come to the Yankees and let's and I'll give you opt-outs on after every year. You could be king opt-out.
Right.
If his final number is 3 years at 45 or even 50 million, yep. Come on down, broski. Because then the game changes.
See, now while I think that would be interesting if it does end up happening,
I'm not saying it does.
The pool becomes larger in terms of teams that will now be involved, because you probably have quite a few teams who don't even want to have a conversation when it comes to 7, 8+ years. Right. Now, if we're talking a 3-4 year deal, now you're going to have teams who probably weren't involved at first. Yep. Now inquiring like, oh, so you only willing to stay here for how many years? 2 to 3? That's no problem for us.
Right. And that's where you have to get creative, right? Like, To me, if everything I'm hearing is true, and I use this term very loosely, if he's struggling to find a market, Corbin Burns, this reminds me, this is very Blake Snell-ish. We see the comments, we're gonna get to them in a few, I promise. It just feels like, yo, we could make the world forget about whatever it is that the perception of us was going into the off season. I'm not saying Corbin Burns is a realistic option, but I'm saying at least it is an option. If you're telling me his contract is only going to go for 3 or 4 years, Corbin Burns suddenly becomes option number, not option number 1, but he's an option on their board.
Yeah, and it's a shame too, because I'm gonna be honest, man. For as good as Corbin Burns has been now, he certainly deserves what he's looking for. Right. Now, whether it ends up being something bad once you get to like the final 2 to 3 years, that's something that you have to be willing to figure out if you're a team who lands him. But the one thing for sure is you're gonna get at least some quality years out of Corbin Burns.
The one thing I would say, listen, if Corbin Burns' market is, let's just say Corbin Burns' market is 3 years at $45 million, 3 teams need to be in on him immediately. The Red Sox, the Orioles need to be back into this market immediately. And I would say watch the Dodgers. Because it's only 3 years. It's not long. It's not an exorbitant amount of money where if he does decide that this is how he's going to play it, then you said his list of suitors becomes larger. You can go to the Mets now. You can go to the Red Sox now. You can go back to Baltimore. You can go to the Dodgers. You can go to maybe the Giants are more comfortable swimming in the 3-4 year pool as opposed to the 6-7 year pool. I'm not mad at that. All I'm saying is I believe at this current moment, right now the Frazier market is frozen. That's the term that I would use. It's frozen. And if that is indeed the case, then the trade market is going to become crazy. Like, I can see a scenario where Luis Castillo gets dealt. It almost feels like a certainty at this point because Seattle knows they need bats.
Right.
Like, he feels like a certainty. I could see us another scenario where if you are the Baltimore Orioles, do you trade from your list of prospects and go get you a starting pitcher like a Luis Castillo to lead that rotation? Like, these teams have a lot of work to do, and it seems like they're just sitting back, just chilling, while the Yankees and the Dodgers and all the big market teams are like, "Oh, this is an arms race. You're not beating me to the spot."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
the Yankees have taken note of that with how quickly they've reacted, when it came to landing some of the guys that they've landed over the past week or so.
So I wonder if there's a reaction in Sox Nation now, because we got Sox fan in here. I wonder if there's a reaction now where the Sox turn around and say, "Yo, nah, we can't let Corbin Burns end up anywhere in the American League East that's not Boston. We did the Garrett Crochet thing. We can't let him go to Toronto. And if the Yankees are really interested in him, we can't let him go to the Yankees with Fried, with Cole, with Heel, with Frodon. We can't. That can't be a thing, right? So, and also if you're the Mets, bro, how is Corbin Burns not at the top of your wish list for 5 years?
Yeah, that's true, especially with the way they've been giving deals out to pitchers over the past couple seasons.
Yes.
You would think that something short-term that would include a guy like Corbin Burns. Now, I get the money would have to be crazy if you are going to have him on a short-term deal.
Right.
But a team like the Mets, you're certainly going to have it with no problem. Why not do it?
Yeah, and so, it becomes a much more wide-open market, right? Like, this Cody Bellinger trade does so many things for everybody involved, right? Because then the Yankees now know I got a center fielder. They got a backup first baseman if necessary if somebody gets hurt, right? They can go a myriad of ways. What I think it does do is I think it takes Santander off the board for them.
Okay.
Right. Because
that was actually a comment that somebody left here. Emilio. Santander next.
Nah, Santander actually comes off the board. And here's why to me he comes off the board. because I don't necessarily believe that the Yankees are going to double down on him playing first base when Cody might play that position, and I don't really want Judge in center field. Santander only makes sense if Belly wasn't going to be a trade option, right? Like, the reason why to me Santander doesn't make sense at this current point is because Belly's already signed. Like, Belly's already here. Like, right? So Santander playing nowhere else. I don't want him in right field, especially if Judge is going to be there. First base, I don't know. I could get a cheaper option that provides just as much power, just as much, offensive identity than he would. Now, he helps you out because he's a switch hitter. He hits lefty, hits right-handed, and will hit 40 home runs at Yankee Stadium. Originally, I had Santander going to the Yankees, if you remember our prediction video. By the way, that's just short right now on the 27-ounce YouTube. But I'm curious to see what happens to his market. Does Toronto jump back into the mix? Where does Boston sit? Like, this one move affects so many different teams, especially in the American League East. Like, now these other teams feel like they have to make a move. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, let's get into some comments now, because I feel like we, for the most part, have gotten into what we wanted to tackle to begin tonight's live. In Cashman, I trust. That's my boy Andy. Shout out to him, man.
Andy, what's up, brother? What's going on, man? What's up, man?
Oh, this is a lot of people here tonight, man. Shout out to everybody who's watching. This is my cousin. My cousin.
Oh,
Nick.
man, welcome, man. Welcome to the family, brother. For real. Welcome, man. Tatis will be hard because of the no trade clause in his contract. That could all be worked out.
But here's the thing, though, because I know, Manny,
that's a great
to what you said about Tatis earlier.
That's a great comment, though, by Manny.
Really think about the type of guy that Tatis, right? Tatis likes to be front and center, which is what the Yankees are all about, right? Especially being in New York. So the Yankees just might be a team who, in a couple of years, if it does become a reality for the Padres to depart with Tatis,
they one of the teams that might be able to make it work. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. I think so, John. I think that's their next move. But I'm just painting a different scenario. Belly is the next comment here. I agree with you. Yeah.
You see, and that's what I was just talking about a few minutes ago, where if Corbin Burns does end up in a Blake Snell like situation, going back to what he did before he decided to end up with the Giants, I think other teams are going to get involved.
I agree with you. Corbin Burns free, that's ridiculous. Yeah, it would be ridiculous, yeah. What would a trade package look like for Mason Miller? By the way, what's up, man? Welcome.
Shout out to
Quan. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Welcome to the family, brother. What would a trade package look like? A lot.
Sun, the moon, and the stars today.
Yes.
Right?
You're starting the package with Jason Dominguez, possibly Jones, Chase Hampton, Will Warren.
Let me ask you something, Stephen. Speaking of Mason Miller, before we move on to other comments, is this true? I don't know if this is true. I have seen a couple of reports about it. I just don't know whether it has been confirmed or not. But apparently, the Phillies and the A's got on the phone where I think the Phillies offered third baseman Alec Bohm for Mason Miller, and the A's just hung up. Yo, that is crazy. Could you imagine that actually taking place in real life? Like, oh, you said what?
No, they called. No, they called and they asked, and Dave Frost, the GM, was like, no thanks.
But the reaction is funny, dude. Like, I could see somebody just picking up saying, "Oh, you offering what?"
Yeah, I ain't got nothing for you. I've heard. Listen, you can ask for anything you want. That's part of the off season and asking, but doesn't mean we got to give you. take Burns gladly on the Mets too. We certainly use the rotation, $45 million over 4 years, $190 million. I think if eventually, if worse comes to worse, that's a deal that he might want to look at. Yeah. I mean,
shout out to Yorlin.
yeah. I mean, listen, you can criticize now. To get back to this person's question, because I want to answer this seriously, you're probably looking at the majority of the top 10 in your farm system going
right,
to
at least like
Vegas.
3 to 5.
Like, you're looking at least 4 or 5 guys all going in the top 10 of your system, and that's not hyperbole. That's a real thing.
Wait, what? Who was it that was dealt this offseason where a team offered? I think it was like 3 out of their like top 10 or top 15 prospects. Do you remember?
That was the Garrett Crochet deal. The
there
White
we go.
Sox.
Yes,
the White Sox ended up getting the Red Sox number 4, number 5, and number 8 prospects in this deal, along with the catcher that they acquired. Yeah, so the White Sox made out fairly well. And also, if you're Boston, can I ask a legitimate question? And I'm not even kidding. Why is the extension for Garrett Crochet not done yet?
Yeah, I thought he made that clear earlier in the year. He was like, listen.
Because the last thing you want him to do is have 2 phenomenal years in Boston, hit the free agent market, and you're sitting there like, you said how much money? $350 million. Like that's what it might cost.
The good thing is too, because Garrett Crochet sort of, and he could always back out, right? And be like, nah, you know what? I said that at one point, but that's not what I believe in today. But sticking to what he did say originally, now is the time to keep him. Like, you gave up what you gave up to acquire him. Now is the time to give him what he's looking for right now, because what he's looking for a year or two now may not be that same amount. I'm just saying.
Listen, what did Fat Joe said on the beginning of that Pusha T record? Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yes, yesterday's price is not today's price.
What I want you to understand, folks, is if you got a guy like Garrett Crochet, lefty, dynamic dude throwing $1 billion, play around. What the kids say, fuck around and find out, right? The last thing you want to do is find out. Especially when you traded all that capital for him, you don't want to play that game. So I would not be surprised if in the next week to 10 days, there's a press announcement that says the Red Sox have signed Garrett Crochet to a 6-year deal for about close to $220 million to $40 million, where he signed for the rest of his natural life to be a Red Sox. That's
got some familiar faces here.
Shrek, what's good, Shrek?
Shrek is back with us. What's going on?
What I think about it is, if I'm being honest, that's a start, but that can't be where it stops. Like, in this market, like, if Seattle's serious about trading Castillo, 2 names need to be traded immediately. Jackson Holiday and Cody Bellinger. Go to Seattle. Go ahead. Just go to Seattle. Let's because listen, I like Jackson Holiday, but I don't think Jackson Holiday is ready to be what the Orioles need him to be.
I agree. He doesn't fit what they're at least expecting him to do for them right now.
If I'm the Orioles, I turn around, I take Jackson, I take Cody Bellinger, and I take maybe another one of their prospects, and I say, Luis Castillo, come on down. You're going to be the ace of the staff. Because now it alleviates the idea that Corbin Burns has left you, right? Like, that idea is no longer in exist. Like, you can forget about it, because even if he leaves, now you get a draft pick back.
Right.
And you got Castillo on the contract for another 3 seasons.
The other thing I want to say, Stefan, about Shrek's comment too is, and we spoke about this earlier today, it's interesting, especially when you look at what the guy did overseas at the age of 35 years old now. But at the same time, you're also asking for a lot, right? And one thing that I told Stefan earlier today was, look at a guy like Yamamoto, fairly younger, and other guys who come from Japan, who the numbers aren't exactly like what it was over there. Yeah. And listen, pitching for the Baltimore Orioles is not going to be easy, right? Like, they're a contender. So you're coming from whatever it was that you were doing there to now being thrown into the fire in the AL East.
And now you have to pitch Now in Japan, they pitch every 7 days. He has to pitch every 5 days.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I think it changes a little bit. We got a comment here. Don't the Yankee fans want to see?
Yeah, but see the difference between, and I'm going to say this right now because I don't have to
What's up,
wait for
brother?
Spencer Jones to play at the big league level.
Appreciate the
But
comment, by the way.
it's important to remember that Michael Harris is athletic as hell, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not trying to say Spencer Jones can't be that, but just based off what we know right now, he's not that.
Also, here's the other thing. There's a reason why he's been in AAA for the last 2 seasons. His strikeout rate is ridiculous. He strikes out about 34% of the time. Like when he connects, the ball goes places it's not supposed to go. We understand that. The problem is the connection part. Can we get you to strike out less and hit the ball more? That would be the one thing that I'd be concerned with if I'm the Yankees. And I think if you gave the Yankees truth serum right now, I think if the Yankees can package him in a deal for something that makes them better for 2025, 2026, and 2027,
Yeah.
I think they think about it because they, as much as they're tantalized by the gifts, because I'm not going to say they're not tantalized, because they're tantalized by the gifts. The idea that you're going to just hold on to a guy just for the sake of holding on to a guy is not, I don't see them doing that. The reason why it's different from a Jason Dominguez standpoint is the Yankees got a glimpse of what he could do at the big league level. Like he took Justin Verlander deep in his first at bat. Like he did things that you at least saw like, oh, this kid can play up here. Like he's not gonna be phased by the moment, the pitching. None of that's gonna bother this kid. The question is, can he field the position? Right? Like what is left field look like for him, next year?
Good
You know what I'm
point.
saying? So that's the question. Shrek with it. If Shakur crushes next year, we could see a 35
You never
year.
know.
He could be. You're right. Yeah, you could be. Although I think Roki Sasaki's gonna have something to say about that in the National League. I think. Hey, but you never know. You never know. So, Phil, I mean,
I don't think so.
that's
I
a
just
very good
don't think
question.
he fits with what the Yankees have going on right now, or even like a year or two from now as well, man. I don't see it. Like as close as he is, you don't want it to be another Jason Dominguez situation, right? Because I'm gonna be honest, Jason Dominguez is a guy who had already should. If you would have asked me this past season, I think Jason Dominguez should have already been, in that starting lineup the moment he had came back from being hurt. But then he was dealing with stuff as well, so we understand why it didn't happen. But we haven't even gotten to see a full season out of him yet. So
Right.
the Spencer Jones talk, yeah, man, I don't see it happening yet.
See, I don't see it necessarily as a failure on the Yankees though,
No,
unlocking his potential. What I do see is, and this is a great question. Thank you for the question. What I do see is, okay, I do see a failure in the Yankees' approach to get him to get to the next level. So I guess in a way I agree with his question, but like you have to allow him to develop at a pace where it's comfortable for him, right? Like the one thing I'll say about the Yankees that I kind of get bothered by is that we push these kids through the moon. Like, yo, this kid's gonna be, oh my god, and like you understand, these kids they've never done this at the big league
It
level.
hardly
before.
ever turns out to be like that anyway.
It's a different beast. So I think at some point you have to engage with the idea, or at least sit with the idea that hey, that we may not have the time to develop him because of our window, right? Like if you told me that the idea was Aaron Judge wasn't here, they just didn't lose Juan Soto, Garrett Cole is not here, and they're a younger team, I would say, all right, I'm all for the development. Let's go. Let's see him go through the bumps, bruises, the nicks, and the idea that he's fighting to become a major leaguer. But when you have Garrett Cole on the roster, when you have different guys on the roster, I don't think it allows you to necessarily play around with somebody's development and say, oh, let's give him time to develop. I don't think they have that time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why a lot of people, I see a comment there. I'm glad that person mentioned it because this goes along with my point. A lot of people were frustrated at the fact that Jason Dominguez didn't have a bigger role in the Yankees' success as the playoffs went on. But listen, 2025 is around the corner,
Yeah,
and it's his time to shine now. We
by the
know that
way,
for sure.
hold on. We got to do this because that might have won commenter tonight. My boy is out here spitting them facts. So we got to show you a little bit of love because that feels like the commenter tonight so far. So you get one of those. Because that right there, like me and him, we were at playoff games this year. And he would ask me, or we would ask each other, when does Jason see the field? Does Jason see the field? Does Jason see the field at all? And you're like, listen, Jason Dominguez, to me, is a special athlete. Now, I'm biased because I'm a Jason fan. I've been a Jason fan since they signed him when he was 16. I remember telling you about him. You're like, who the hell is this kid?
Yeah,
like,
you've been sending me videos of Jason Dominguez for a couple years now.
And I'm like, this kid, he looks like the goods, man. And I'm like, I just hope that the pressures of New York don't eat him up and don't swallow him whole, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? With the pressures of, damn, I'm playing for the Yankees. I'm playing right next to Judge. I have the whole world expecting me to be this great phenom. Because listen, if he's right and he's healthy, switch hitter with his power as he possesses, the way he's able to get to a baseball, his throwing arm is they say is like just a tier below elite. Like, and mind you, folks, he's only 22, right? Like the ceiling, I don't think has been reached. But if we reach the ceiling, and you give it time to ferment and develop, think about it like wine, right? Good wine sits in a vineyard for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You gotta let the grapes kind of ferment and like, all right, we're getting the most out of it that we could get now. Right?
The one thing that I do like too that the Yankees are doing with the 3 big moves, I should say, that they made this far this offseason is this. Now, I believe personally that this will take off some of the pressure when it comes to a young guy such as Jason Dominguez.
Right.
Had you not gone out there and gotten Cody, gotten Max Fried, gotten Devin Williams, now it's just Cole, Judge, and whoever the hell you bring up next, and Jason Dominguez being that guy with the spotlight being on him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he's not going to have pressure, especially going into his first full season at the major league level.
Yep.
It's just normal to feel that way. But I think all of these acquisitions at least allow him to really just take a step back and understand what it's like to play left field in Yankee Stadium.
And also, too, listen, if worst comes to worst, right, Cody can always be moved to first base. Jason, go play center field. If this is where you're comfortable, go play center field. We can move this dude to first base. We can always do that if we wanted to. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, everybody says, oh, but I don't know how Jason's going to fare in left. If he doesn't fare well, then, if anything, you can always put Cody in left. Cody doesn't have to stay in center field. I think Cody Bellinger's athletic enough, wherever you put him on the field, he can play the position.
Right.
Whether it's left field, center field, or first base, you'll be fine. What I want to do, or what I think the Yankees should do, is prioritizing the comfortability of where this kid fits best. Is it center field? If it's center field, then hey kid, this is where you're playing. But it came out today, and we're going to reiterate it again, that the Yankees want to put him at first base. I mean center field. So if he's going to be in center field, then you already know the deal. There's a comment here by Mac Miles, Josh Naylor. Welcome, Mac.
It's funny he says that because I know you mentioned his name at some point last week, Stefan.
I would not mind that. I would not mind the lefty bat in Yankee Stadium with all that power. I would not mind it at all. I don't think they do it now, but I wouldn't mind it. I was at the World Series game 1. I actually felt on my knees. Oh my goodness. You were there, bro?
Damn.
Oh, pain.
So, Darl, I'm assuming, do you live on the West Coast, or did you travel from the East Coast or elsewhere to get there?
Oh yeah, that looks like what the outfield is now, Rick. Yes, I think that's what the outfield is going to be in this current iteration. But who knows? And
Uh,
like I said, I just want to point this out for the record. It would not surprise me that Cash turns around and trades Jason in a deal for something that he thinks he might need. Right? I'm not saying that he's gonna do it, but I'm just saying at least that has to be a thought in everybody's mind. Yo, he might turn around and flip dude. I'm not saying he does it, but I'm saying it's
wow. You see
possible.
this comment? This is interesting. I'm a student that travels for baseball.
Wow,
Really?
man. How old are you, brother?
Yeah, I'd like to know. I don't want to get too personal, but this is a very interesting comment because I've never heard any student say that they travel for baseball purposes. So I like that a lot, man.
Nah,
I
that's
wonder, I wonder
dope.
if he's a younger guy or
Yeah,
it
how old are
sounds
you,
like it,
man?
right?
We don't mean to put your business in the street, but that sounds really intriguing.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
All right, so friendly reminder, shout out to everybody who's watching right now. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at 27 Nows 3C. That's where we've been breaking all of the off-season signings, trades, acquisitions, however
Yes,
you want to
sir.
call it. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel.
For sure, for sure. That's a solid outfield expect. Yeah, I mean, listen, man. The one thing that you know that teams now value is defense. Defense and run prevention. So I don't think that it's totally out of the realm of possibility, but we'll see. The comment, yes, sir. I mean, all I'll say is, and this is the other fascinating thing, and I was sitting there thinking about this right before we went on camera, like right before you came on camera and we started chopping it up. I says, yo, what if, and I'm not saying this happens, but what if the Red Sox now realize, yo, we got to go for it. The Blue Jays been trying to go for it, but nobody wants to take their money because nobody wants to pass through Canada every 2 weeks with a friggin' passport. I believe that. I believe the travel into Canada and out of Canada is the biggest pain in the rear. And that's why I think a lot of people don't go there. But if I had to guess,
Oh, he told us actually. Let's put that comment up there. That's interesting, man. I'm a
22-year-old
22-year-old student that was
was
sent to the
sent to
World
World
Series for
Series
the
for
organization.
organization.
Wow.
Yo, hold on, bro.
Shout out to you, man, doing that at 22 years old.
For sure, for sure. Also, man, listen, keep us updated on your progress, right? Let us know what's going on. Keep us updated. You will always have a resource here with us. If you ever have any stories that you want to share at some point, put them in the comments. We'd love to show them. Hit that comment, hit that like, and hit that subscribe button. Also, Dale, show some of your homies like, hey, I found this baseball channel. It's really cool. If anybody else you know is doing the same thing you're doing, bring them to the channel, man, because that's a beautiful way to grow the game. For real. That's awesome.
Yeah. I
That
would
is
like to
awesome.
know how that being that type of student is.
Oh, my
Because
God.
we know of the day-to-day typical college and things like that, but this is something that, at least for me, is unheard of.
For
So now
sure.
that I've heard this for the first time and you're being
For
sent
sure.
to World Series games and whatnot to
For
study
sure, yeah.
is crazy, dude. Shout out to you, man. Enjoy the hell out of that.
Listen, I'm a little bit envious, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little
Right.
envious. Right?
Well, at 22, we had just met. So, in a way, like it sucks that we weren't doing that, but it was good that you and I,
For sure,
had
man.
met at the time.
For sure. Man's just doing his thing. Hell yeah, you ain't never lie.
Yeah,
That's a
thanks, Nick. I
beautiful thing.
appreciate
Keep
that.
going, man. For real, man. Keep going. And like I said, you'll always have family here, bro. Hit us in the chat whenever you see us live and you can pop on. You know what I mean? We'll love to have you pop on and tell us about your story, man, because that's beautiful, man. That is so beautiful. Speaking of things that are beautiful, right? Because I was thinking about this earlier today. I wonder what type of pressure Craig Breslow's under, Reese Askins, Mike Elias. Notice I'm naming the general managers in the American League East because I wonder who caves first and does something stupid. You know what I mean by do something stupid? Like, I wonder if another move by the Yankees or another move by Boston or a significant moves by the Orioles makes Ross Askins and Mark Shapiro and Toronto go, listen, we got to trade Vladdy because this ain't working. These teams are too loaded. We ain't going to be able to compete. So why don't we just start the rebuild now? Like, I wonder who was the first GM to do something stupid. And I say that, I don't use that term loosely. I don't use it pejoratively. But who's the first GM that's going to jump out the window? Because to me, the American League East has been very measured, right? It feels like it's a very measured division. We've seen big acquisitions, but like, who's gonna be the first one that says, "Yo, I gotta jump out the window because this ain't working for me"? At that point, I wonder what does that look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does it look like for a guy who, one, I believe they're all under pressure or they're gonna lose their jobs. I think every one of those general managers are under a different sort of pressure. I think Craig Breslow in Boston is safe because he just landed Crochet and he just got there. When I look at a guy like Ross Askins and Mark Shapiro in Toronto, I don't think their jobs are safe at all.
Toronto has to be in trouble, man, because with the talent that they've had over the past few seasons, and now Vladdy Jr. entering year 7, and you still not being able to put a good product around him, you might have a good point there, Stefan. Like, it's time for these guys to really either figure it out or move on to the next, because it clearly hasn't worked in Toronto for some time now.
That's a very good point. And the one thing I do want to point out, I don't think Tampa can afford to do stupid.
Never.
I don't think they can afford it, even if they wanted to. And I don't mean that to be pejorative, but can they afford it? I don't know if that's something they could afford to do, even if they wanted to. Vladdy cut his hair before 2024, and it was incredible. Bichette cut his hair, so get ready for an elite season. By the way, did you see Bo Bichette with short hair?
I haven't seen it. No, let me look.
Oh my God! Hold on.
By the way, Shrek, in the case of Vladdy Jr., I would not be surprised if he's like top 3 in the MVP in the American League, because he's gonna want to get paid.
He's gonna have a year, right? He's gonna have one of those years where you're like, bro had a year and a half, right?
Bo Bichette with short hair.
He looks wild.
Oh, okay, I see.
By the way, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but guess who was?
He looks like a soccer player. He looks like a Messi or something.
Hold on, let's see if we could get a picture of Bo on the stream for you guys to see. Hold on.
I didn't know that until tonight. So Shrek, shout out to you for pointing that out.
Here's a video.
But he definitely looks different though.
He looks bugged out. Hold on. He looks crazy. And the thing about it is, he looks like a completely different human being. Seriously, he looks crazy. I was like, what the hell did you do? When I saw it, I was in shock, bro. You know, when you see something, you have to do like a double take because you don't believe it's real?
Yeah.
I had to do the double take. Like, oh my God.
You know,
he looks wild.
Now that I look at those pictures of what he looked like with the longer hair, I don't know why he reminds me of Johnny Damon. Not as messy and sloppy as Johnny Damon was when he was with the Red Sox, but just something about that hair that he just cut off. It just gave me Johnny Damon vibes.
Yo, when I saw it, by the way, he was in the building for the UFC event the other night. Coincidence or not, guess who was in the building for this UFC event? Pete Alonso, Aaron Judge. Sitting 2 rows from each other. Both live in Tampa. I'm not trying to start nothing, but Clark Schmidt, Pete Alonso, Aaron Judge in the same radius of each other. And it so happens that the Yankees are connected and Pete Alonso's a free agent.
Yo, could you imagine? And I don't want to start no nonsense, so nobody run with this, but could you imagine Aaron Judge didn't reach out to Juan Soto at all during the offseason, but he picks up the phone to start recruiting Pete Alonso?
Oh my goodness.
Crazy. That
oh my goodness.
That says a lot, man.
You want to talk first of all, you want to talk about how a ridiculous lineup? Pete Alonso, Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger. And I'm not the biggest Pete Alonso at first base fan, but offensively that would be That would
And
be
let me say this too. I'm not
that would be
hating, but
ugly.
we have to understand where certain guys are, especially when they've been playing the game long enough.
Yeah.
And I saw a picture earlier today of Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, and Stanton. Like, can we stop trying to form big threes with Stanton being a part of it? Like, listen, we take what he gives us in the postseason, and that's it, Yankee fans. All right. Can we rally around that? Can we all believe in that? Like, stop. There's no big three. At least not with Stanton.
I mean, if you want to count him as a big three in October, I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
with you. I'm with you. Um, the hard part though, right? What do you
does he
need
need?
there?
Can you guys help me? I need you guys, please.
What do you need?
What do you need us to help you with?
Because it depends on what the answer to this question is.
I feel like this could go either way. Like it could go left or it could end up being something serious.
Yeah, not like I'm not trying to get flagged by YouTube, bro.
John, we saw your comment earlier. Yes, we do believe, both Stefan and I believe that will probably be their next move.
Yes, I think that's the next move, yes. When it comes to the trade deadline, the Yankees the only organization that have to worry about if a player can't handle New York. No,
that's the only one.
because you could make the same argument for guys that the Mets have traded for in the past. Like, could like Jesse Winker is a hell of a ball player, but Jesse Winker has had a very irritable relationship with Met fans in the past, and he got along great with the Met fans and the passion. And there's Met fans now that are clinging for him to come back. Like the idea of him leaving is breaking some Met fans' hearts.
Right.
He said, "LMFA, I'm laughing my ass off." What's you guys' favorite ballpark? Well,
favorite and least. I haven't gone to many.
I haven't gone to many. I've been to Yankee Stadium. I don't like the new Yankee Stadium. I love Citi Field. I think Citi Field is awesome.
Yes, Citi Field certainly looks better than Yankee Stadium.
I've driven by Camden Yards. I haven't been there for a game, but by the outside, Camden Yards in Baltimore looks beautiful.
I'm glad Shrek actually asked us that because, believe it or not, Shrek, that is something that Stefan and I would like to start doing as time goes on, where we visit, maybe a Citizens Bank Park in Pennsylvania or PNC, just because we're on the Northeast, right? And we've got a lot of different baseball teams just around this area.
Philly,
but yeah,
Boston,
man, just Yankee Stadium and Citi Field for us.
So far, yeah, so far. I asked because so many guys come to NY like Sonny Gray and shit. Also, I think that's Larry Rothschild, the Yankees' former pitching coach, that ruined him. Like
hitters too, though, because Joey Gallo is another guy who came here and he just listen. And it's not like Joey Gallo was going to come here to be an MVP with the Yankees, but for him to not even be anything close to what he was with the Rangers, like, come on, dude.
That's tough. And the thing about it is, you would have thought Joey Gallo would have fit perfectly in Yankee Stadium because he's left-handed, pull power. It's just some people just can't handle New York. The reason why I think Cody Bellinger is going to fare well in New York is look at where he's played. Los Angeles and Chicago. You've already played in two huge markets, and you've done pretty well in those markets. So I could see a scenario in which, like, hey, man, like, New York might not be that bad. Like, your dad was a Yankee.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually said that, Stefan. I had it in my mind earlier tonight, but yeah, his dad used to play for the Yankees from 99 to 2001.
So, you want to hear an interesting fact about Cody Bellinger? I mean, Clay Bellinger, his dad? Clay Bellinger is the only baseball player in the history of the big leagues to go to 4 separate World Series with 2 teams. He went from 99 to 01 with the Yankees and 02 with the Angels and won a championship.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that was the end of his career, I'm assuming, right? Around that point?
He hung it up soon after that to become a fireman. He's a fireman. Yeah. Or was a fireman. I don't know if he's still doing it now, but that's a crazy stat to even think about. Like, you go to the World Series the first 4 years of your career, and you just hang it up after that. Like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I think Was it Will Smith? Wasn't there a pitcher who won like 3
Yeah,
World Series over the past couple seasons?
yeah. He signed with he was with. I think he was with. I forgot who he was with. He went to. He ended up in Texas. He was with the Champions the year before that, and then the year before that, he was with the like something crazy. I'm like, yo,
Yeah, I
wait,
think he was with the Astros too.
yeah,
Let me see.
yeah, mm-hmm. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
so he 2021, 2022, and 2023. 3 years in a row. Wow.
You want to talk about the luck of the draw? Wow,
So that's the Braves, the Astros, and the Rangers that he won a World Series with. Damn, that's crazy, man.
that
What
is
better way
nuts,
to
man.
retire?
One with the Braves, the Astros, and the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
We are working on a model to see if teams can know ahead of time before teams could. But that's the thing. There's no way to tell.
You can't tell that.
You can't. You
Let
have to allow
you have
something
to
like
let
that
them
to
go
play out
through
in
it.
real
Yeah.
time.
And also some dudes just feed off of it. Like some dudes just come here and they become cemented forever. Like for example, like Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill when he first got here, because you gotta remember Paul O'Neill is from Cincinnati. So when he left the Reds, it was like, hold up, wait, what? I'm leaving home. I gotta go to New York, and he ended up excelling. Some people just excel in New York. They just there's a magnetism that draws it out of them. All right, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna be great. Now, if you're from New York, it might be a different level of pressure where you might not be able to excel. There he is. What's up, TD?
TD in the chat again. What's going on,
Know
bro?
what I mean? That's a great move by the. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He fits whatever they need. It's a personality thing. Some people can handle the bright lights of NY, some can't. I agree.
Right.
Like, not
And
to
then
use.
also the way the media is with players too, man, compared to other markets, like not only
Yeah.
do you have to deal with the pressure of the fans and the fan base being the Yankees, but all these media outlets being in your face and shoving the mic
Yeah.
down your throat to get something
hmm
out of you every
That's
day at that.
See, to answer your question, Max Fried is a perfect case study for this because Max Fried grew up in California, was in Atlanta his entire career. Max Fried might be the person that answers this question perfect for you in the next 2 to 3 years. Because he's never pitched in New York before. Wow, that's crazy. Because the Dodgers catcher is also named Will Smith. And they won the World Series in 20 and 24.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, I mean,
Trying to identify traits. That's tough,
so
man.
for example, if I could give you if I can give you it's a different sport, but like Carl Anthony Towns, remember he had the motto of being soft because he was in Minnesota. You didn't really watch him. You watch Cat now, and it's like Cat's not soft at all. I think Cat's just misunderstood. I think when you watch Cat now in New York wearing a Knick uniform, like he kind of gets like, oh, I'm not soft, bro. I'm from here. Like
I
I
think
know.
he tapped into a version of himself that the NBA hadn't seen yet.
Yeah, and I listen, and no disrespect to anybody out there in Minnesota, Twins fans, what's up? If you in here, say what's up. He's from Jersey. He a local. It's different. Like Derek Jeter. Yeah, he grew up in Michigan, but guess what? He would come for the summer. He's a Jersey boy. His grandmother would make him watch Yankee games. Hey, come here and watch the game with me. Like, when you from here, that's a different level of like expectation and yo, this is what we expect of you every day, right? Like, so some people can't handle it. Like Sonny Gray, he's a Southern boy. He grew, I believe, Sonny Gray grew up in Georgia, I believe. Don't misquote me on that, but he grew up in the South. He didn't grow up in New York. Like Brett Gardner. Brett Gardner was one of the rare guys that handled New York, but Brett Gardner grew up in South Carolina. He's from South Carolina. Some dudes just can't handle it.
TD makes a good point there. You see with that comment there?
Not everybody is made to play in New York, Boston,
That's
but
right.
those who can accept the pressure, they can excel. Like Jeter, Rivera, Posada. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will tell you this: a guy like that, like he flocked to Boston immediately was Big Papi. Big Papi came to Boston and was like, "Oh, that's it. I love this here. I get to hit clutch home runs. I get to be in the spotlight. I get to do all that. Yeah,
I think going back to that trade, which was a very long time ago, but I think Big Papi was certainly ready for a change of scenery, and the
for
Minnesota
sure.
Twins just weren't that for him.
Hmm.
And he finally unleashed the beast in Boston.
Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
All right, Nick.
Chuck Knobloch. I mean, Chuck Knobloch was interesting too, because it was like there was a time Chuck Knobloch at second base was like watching me trying to take steps. It wasn't very pretty. it wasn't very pretty.
Yes, it
Yeah,
will.
that's scary. I don't even want to like. All right. Rant mode.
It's
Yankees.
time they stopped that already.
If somebody's watching from the Yankee PR department or the grooming department or whatever the fuck you call yourselves, can we let these guys have beards? It's 2025. This ain't 1970. They ain't going into the Marine Corps. Let them have a beard. They're not fighting in a war. They're playing baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
They're not solving first world issues. Okay, rant done.
He had some help.
Yeah, but he also carried that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he also won a lot of games for the Red Sox, like him alone.
Oh, we also working on signs of. Oh wow! So what are you guys working on? Like different algorithms?
Yeah, and my also
Because that's what it
question too
sounds like.
is this at all related to analytics? Like, are you guys using actual numbers for this too?
Like actual data?
I think I know what he's talking about. I'll show you right here.
What, A-Rod?
Yeah, the A-Rod one. This one here.
I hated him as a Yankee, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I wasn't enamored with him like everybody else was.
So to make it short, because we don't want to get into that guy, but A-Rod was actually one of my favorite players growing up. That was even before he was traded to the Yankees. And like many people, when the truth was finally revealed and the shit hit the fan, as many would say, I understood who the guy was, and I then started to enjoy him from a distance. So that's what I would say about A-Rod.
For sure. Love Big Papi. He was a money player. Don't get me wrong. No, I agree with you, but nah, Big Papi was that dude.
Yeah, but
Big
the other
Papi
thing
was that
too,
dude. Yeah.
like even if you remove Manny and Pedro, which eventually happened, and then David Ortiz started to be the guy for a very long time there in Boston, he was able to do it with whatever the Red Sox gave to him. So credit to Big Papi for being able to do that.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the most overrated player
in the game right now?
Yeah, I'm being honest. Yeah.
Nah, I'm not a big A-Rod fan. I'm on to piss people off.
Yeah.
Yeah, A-Fraud. I feel that. I feel you on that. This I can't co-sign. I can't co-sign that.
Yeah, man. So Manny's saying that is funny because we've talked about it in the past. A-Rod, before the cheating and before the truth came out, I did view A-Rod like that, for quite some time until he ruined it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey man, welcome.
What up, Jeffy?
Hit the chat, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Welcome to the family. We'd love to keep the convo going.
I remember that moment. Yeah. Yeah, that's when A-Rod still thought he was that guy.
Listen, that's when baseball was baseball, though.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest. If I had, so I just want to mention a few more things about this off season, because I think one thing that I really want to hone in on is everybody focuses on what's next. By the way, did you guys hear about the study that came out today that Major League Baseball conducted with the pitcher findings and how everything was inconclusive? I'm gonna tell you something right now. This study is gonna either be what ruins baseball or what changes it forever for the better.
Are you talking about the velocity piece that you shared with me?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So There was a study that came out. Hold on.
Yeah. Now it's all about who makes the most money and who offers the largest deals.
Who do we think is the most overrated player? I got one in mind already, and everybody's gonna kill me for saying this.
Most overrated player. Go ahead. You could start if you have yours. Let me think about this.
Um,
The most overrated player. I got one.
who you got?
So, while I know he's good, especially in clutch moments, I'm not the biggest fan of Carlos Correa. I especially going back to what a lot of people thought he was going to be early in his career, and I know
Yeah.
he's won before, and I don't want to take that away from him and the
Sure.
moments that he's had in the postseason. But yeah, Carlos Correa, especially for what he's earning, I don't know. I just don't think he's that guy.
Wow. Interesting. I don't hate your pick. I don't
Wait,
hate
hold
it.
on. What is TD saying here? Are you saying Vladdy Jr. is overrated? I don't think so.
Not after that second half he had.
I don't think so. I don't think so, man. Plus, he had an MVP type season before in the past. He might have another one with this being the final year on his deal. Absolutely. Yeah. Holy, he's saying it with confidence, man. Listen, I respect what you say.
Listen, I'm with it. We look at the physiological aspect of the hormones. Oh, wow. But like, do you? So I'm assuming you have like algorithms that look for these sorts of things.
Oh, the ending of that comment there. I don't know if I'm taking this the wrong way, but it sounds like he wants to work in Major League Baseball.
Ah.
Yeah, because he says before we join an organization, so I'm assuming they're going to be doing this work for a team at some point.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone to a winning meetings before? And if you have, what are some things that you've learned or that they taught you? Because I know when the winning meetings have classes and seminars and stuff you can join. It's not just for executives and players and agents. They also have seminars about like front offices and stuff they're looking for and numbers and different types of algorithms.
Right. Yeah, that would have been a better argument. Who's yours? Because we're waiting. We got to give two.
Damn.
So just a friendly reminder for those of you. Go ahead, take your time, Stefan. Let me
I'm trying to
let
think
everybody know. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at 27outs3c. And for those of you who are watching live right now on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So yeah, where we were asked something. Who was it here that asked us? It was Shrek originally. He says, "Who do you think is the most overrated player in Major League Baseball?"
I'm gonna say something that's a little bit shocking, but I'm gonna go with Aaron Judge.
Really?
Yeah, based on his postseason performance, you can't tell me he's not a little bit overrated. The regular season is nice, but if you don't perform in the playoffs, that kind of looks away. Like
I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy with that. So let's see what's about to come any minute now in the comments section.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being honest. Like I'm here.
While I agree with you, especially with how you mentioned it, overall I disagree, but I'm just adding on to how you said it, right? So I just want to stick to that.
Based on his postseason performances or lack thereof, you can make an argument he's in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You really can.
Right. Oh, wow. You see this comment here by Darl? He's been to the winter meetings.
However, we haven't associated with the... Oh, snap.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So let me ask you this, Darl. Whether you know or not, it's fine. But if you do know, why not share some stuff with us here tonight?
For sure.
What's going on with the Blue Jays? Do you know anything in terms of who they're trying to land, if at all, and why they haven't really done much yet to this point? Vladdy is a guy who has been mentioned here tonight in the comments a few times. But what do you have to say about that?
For sure. I don't know if that's fair because most guys would love to have those numbers, to be honest.
Exactly, right?
Those numbers aren't bad.
I think you're a little hard on Vladdy
Yeah, that's a little
Guerrero
rough,
Jr. there,
man. That's
TD.
a little rough because it's not like he hasn't like like. Yeah, did he have a couple down years? Yeah.
So let me flip this on TD now, right? So you being a Red Sox fan, as we know, because you've said it here on the show before, you telling me you wouldn't take Vladdy Jr. on the Red Sox?
Yeah, that's because yeah, for sure. By the way, in that yard in Fenway, he go crazy.
Damn, that's tough, man. He said I expected MVP year after year after year.
I don't even think that's possible. I don't think
Well,
anybody.
listen, he's played 6 seasons to this point. He's now entering year 7. That's 2 out of 6. He's had 2 MVP like seasons. I give him 2024, and then I also give him the most obvious one being 2021 when he had the OPS at 1,000.
30 homer. I mean, he's saying exactly something I said. I don't remember what I said, but I don't think that's necessarily fair to you to us for us to say that he hasn't, had good seasons. Vlad's, I don't know, that we might have to fight over because Bryce is in that conversation. Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I would say that there's a couple guys that are in that conversation. I don't know if I could give it to Vladdy off the rip.
Freddie Freeman.
Freddie, yeah, no, that's no, I don't know if I could do that. That's a little rough.
Interesting debate though, for sure.
Yeah, but not everybody's Poppy though. Not everybody's Poppy. Poppy was a different dude.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta understand, they don't make big poppies anymore, bro. Those days are long gone. I'm a Yankee fan that is waiting to be done with school in Canada so I could go back to the US. I'm currently trying to. Oh, wow.
Wow, man. Shout out to you.
Shout to
sounds
you,
big.
man. For sure. Yeah, but I never looked at Bo as one of those like game changer type of dudes.
Well, while I agree with you, Stefan, he along with
Kevin
Vladdy
Biggio
Jr.
and Kevin Biggio, they all
they
came up
were
together.
supposed to be the next dudes up in Toronto, and that failed miserably.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was bad.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
So here's what I would say about Bo Bichette, though, right? Bo Bichette, I don't think he's a bad hitter.
No.
Now defensively, I get what you're saying.
In the
But
field,
for what Bo
great.
Bichette is able to put up in terms of offense at shortstop, I'll take it.
For sure. Most people wouldn't be able to do what he does on with the. Listen, if Bo Bichette didn't have to play center field, that's 30-30, like 30-30-30. You know what 30-30-30 is? 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, 30 doubles.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can give you that. But I think playing shortstop, he gets in his head, he tries to be perfect, and it affects his offense.
Right.
It affects his offense.
His defense stats are not money either. I'm assuming you're talking about Vladdy Jr. still. And while you're right, TD, but listen, it's not like Vladdy Jr. is going to get what Juan Soto just got from the Mets. But clearly teams are not really worried about what a lot of guys are doing on the offensive end, especially when you're that young.
Mm-hmm.
And they're showing us by committing for the amount of years that they're willing to commit for and for what they're willing to offer in terms of average annual value.
So we got a comment. Dell, I think I understand what you're looking to do. I think there's a correlation between how a pitcher reacts to a big situation during his development and how it translates to the big stage. Wow. You know what? Thank you for that comment, Razor. That's big time. Nah, he's not getting close to 600 million.
No.
I think 400 million is more like his speed, but 600
Yeah.
600
I
million.
think Kyle Tucker has a better shot at signing for more than Vladdy Jr. does because he's a better all-around player.
I agree. That I agree with, yes. To the 11 people in here, what's up? Hit that thumbs up button, hit that share button, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let the people know you in here. You know what I mean? Let them know. Let them know you in here.
He's still with that 650.
I don't know if he gets 650. By the way, did anybody see his press conference today where he said he's open to an extension with the Cubs if it makes sense for both sides?
But it's not going to make sense for him. In that case, it would only make sense for the Cubs. And it would be a slap in the face to him because it would be a low ball offer.
Could be, but he did say from his own mouth, I'd be open for an extension with the Cubs if it came down to it. Do I think that's true? Hell no.
Listen, I think if you would have asked me, I think the Cubs shot themselves in the foot. I think after the 2025 season, they're clearly going to be without Cody now that they traded him to the Yankees.
Yep.
And Kyle Tucker entering his final year on his deal, they're going to be without Kyle Tucker. Now, where do you go? But we'll save that conversation for then. But I think that's how things turned out.
No, but it goes back to the conversation we were having earlier about a GM under the most pressure. When you look at a guy like Jed Hoyer knows, listen, I took over for Theo Epstein. Theo Epstein won a championship in Chicago. He did something that the baseball god said was impossible. I took over for him. So obviously, there's a certain level of pressure that's different, right? It's a different level of pressure. And when you talk about a guy like Jed Hoyer, you understand that the idea of him not even making the playoffs kind of changes the way we look at Jed Hoyer and his resume and how he's perceived as an executive. I think this was straight up desperation. If I'm honest with you, I think this was desperation, which leads me to believe that it's going to fail because you don't have enough to stand up around Kyle Tucker. Like, that's why I'm happy Cody Bellinger's a Yankee, but from a baseball perspective, I don't understand why that deal makes sense, especially when you're trying to contend.
And also, too, look at it from Kyle Tucker's standpoint, right? Look at the situation you just got out of. A winning team that was constantly going on deep playoff runs after deep playoff run, to now going to a team where you may not even make the playoffs. You think he's gonna want to listen, man? I think he was being a nice guy. He didn't want to come off as a jerk off to the Chicago Cub fans. But I don't know, man. If I would have put myself in his shoes, that's landing with the Cubs is not a match made in heaven for him.
No, it's not. And I think he knows that though, right? And I think part of it is you don't want to piss anybody off. You don't want to say the wrong thing because you don't want to step on nobody's toes. Could be. By the way, why is he not the closer for the Phillies? Why are we playing around? Like, that guy's stuff is disgusting. Can a productive model based on...
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Both. I think they go hand in hand.
I agree with you.
The second thing that you mentioned there regarding situational performance and the psychological aspect, I think they go hand in hand.
I think they kind of need each other in order for both to work at a maximum level.
Yeah, because I think the tougher the situation is, the more you're in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's up there, man. It's up there. I would say those are 1, 2, and 3, and I'll leave it up to you guys to put it however you want.
However you want, yeah, because it's all subjective. The latest on Burns is it doesn't look like he's going to get the long-term extension he's looking for. So if that's the case and it is a shorter-term deal, I think there's the free agent pool is more open for him to sign somewhere. That's what it looks like to me anyway. Because if he had the long-term deal in hand already, I think he would have signed it.
Right.
I don't think he has it in hand. And the hard part is, where does it come from? Who gives it to him?
I think the closer we get to the start of the 2025 season, the less of a chance a guy like Corbin Burns will end up signing for that long for the amount of money that he's looking for.
At that point, you don't want to end up like Blake Snell. Now, Blake Snell recovered nicely in the second half and had a second half that got him paid. But you don't want to go into spring training where you don't have a team and it's February 20th and you're like scrambling to try and find a team. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're Corbin Burns, your directive right now is to tell Scott Boras, "Yo, get me on the MLB roster. I don't care what the contract looks like. I don't care what the maturations of the contract look like. Just get me signed somewhere so that I can know where I'm playing and I can start to develop a routine. Because
Yeah.
I don't care how much working out you do at the Boras Corp. The Boras Corp is not spring training. The Boras Corp is not the big leagues, and the Boras Corp is not going to prepare you for the stresses of a major league season. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's a wise decision. I mean, we'll see. I don't know if Dave Dombrowski deals him, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Oh hell no! What? That would be funny, but nah, man, absolutely not.
Toronto's, yeah, but Toronto, if Toronto gives him that, he's not taking it. Because I'm going to tell you what I think. It's funny you mentioned that, TD. Toronto, I believe, has the biggest offer out there for him, and I don't think he wants it, which is why he's trying to wait it out.
Right.
Do you think we'll have a word? Yes.
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 Yo, Darl, Stefan, before you get into what you want to say, this guy has actually been saying it for over a year now, I would say. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard it made it to well, that in particular being the topic of discussion, within the industry up until like maybe a couple months ago. But yeah, Stefan is somebody who has been preaching that for
Mm-hmm.
that reason and that reason to be exact. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Nah, yeah. I mean, listen, it's in our previous videos. We talked about it in a video previously. We're gonna talk about it more as it gets closer. But I don't want to regurgitate my points. But there are a few videos where we did discuss this. So if you want to go back and look at those after this one ends, you're more than welcome.
Yeah. And also, too, this just adds on to your point, Stefan. Like, we're talking about a 22-year-old kid who's studying the game. He's in school,
Right.
which just proves the point that it sounds like it's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And the sad part about it is, you know what this all comes down to? It's all money, man. These players want money. These teams are trying to make the most money. And I think it goes back to the conversation we were having about the pitching report that came out. They value velocity nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Velocity is way more valued than at any other point in the game's history. And that's why injuries are going to continue to skyrocket. And we're going to have to ask more questions and more deeper analyzation of how do we keep these kids healthy. Because listen, there was a portion of the story where they talked about this high school senior, or he throws all year round. These kids all throw all year round. By the time they get to, you know, sign with a big league team and sign with a major league team and go through their workouts, like your elbow's only gonna max out at a certain point before it's like, all right, bro, I can't do this anymore, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
I'm a
tough.
big believer in throwing triple digits or very close to at the age of 18 and 19 is not normal, not even in today's world. I know we're starting to see more and more guys at that age throw that hard, but it's a problem, and it's a problem that needs to be
Mm-hmm.
addressed not only at the major league level, but the minor league level, the college level, even down to the high school level. Because when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, a lot of these kids are entering what their junior, senior year, probably freshman year of college. It's a problem, man. It really
Mm.
is.
What do we think about the automated strike zone? I hate it.
So I understand why it is thrown out there frequently. But yeah, man, the reactions and the ejections, just everything that comes with having an umpire be a part of the game. If you
Yes.
implement the automated strike zone, you got to remember you're taking that away.
The histrionics are a part of the game. If somebody wants to get ejected, let them get ejected. That's the only thing we look at scouting talent. It's crazy to me. I saw this 12-year-old kid blow out his arm on site. Crazy to see.
12 is
Wow,
crazy.
12 years
Wow.
old. Holy shit.
Damn.
Have you heard? I mean, I think all owners do, to be honest. I think all owners want it. I don't even think that's a conversation that we need to continue to have. All owners want this, and I don't think it's necessarily close. I think if you told owners, uh, see, but even then, like Kyle Tucker knows, I got a year because I'm a free agent in 2025. It's the guys that are free agent in 2026 and beyond that you like, hold up, I might have to take this extension, even though it's not going to be what's best for me and my family. But
Yeah.
I
We
don't
talked
know.
about that earlier today, Stefan. If you want to get into that with everyone who's watching now. So one thing that we spoke about earlier today was the fact that would you guys be surprised with, the potential of there being a work stoppage, a lockout, if over the next year and a half we start to see a lot of players be dealt,
No.
not just trades, but a lot of players just agree to long-term deals with whoever it is that they're playing for at the time, just because they at least want to put themselves in a situation that benefits them now rather than later because of what's to come.
Yeah. And I think that's also on the agent to warn them, like, yo, talk to your constituents, talk to your boys, talk to your guys that are in the union, and find out what the biggest, like, what should we be doing right now? What should we be doing right now? And I think that's the thing that each player individually has to think about. Each player individually um has to um consider for themselves. You understand? Like each player has to go through a situation where we might have to figure out what works best for us as individuals. Because what works best for Ivan may not work for me. What
Yeah.
works best for me may not work best for Ivan. So it's all like it's all relative to each person's needs and how they think they'll work best.
Man, this guy Darl, he got stories for days, man. You see that comment there?
What do you say? I had a quick stint in DR. I saw this 11-year-old kid at 63.
He was not 11. I'm going to stop it right there. He was not 11. I'm sorry, Darl. I know you were there physically, but me being of Dominican descent, half, because I'm also half Puerto Rican. But I'm going to tell you one thing. 6'3", throwing 85 at 11 years old, I don't believe it. I honestly, if I had to take a guess, he was probably a few years older, but the team was stating that he was 11 years old. Be honest, Stephen. You see that description? Look at that description right there. Let's get the comment up. Look, he says, in the DR, 11 years old, 6'3", 85 mile per hour fastball. That, like, come on, nah, dude.
So my question is,
What did he say?
what?
And listen, no shade to the Dominican Republic. I understand a lot of these guys are all about baseball and baseball only. Like they live, breathe, eat, sleep baseball, but they're also notorious for lying about ages as well. Yo, Rick, I saw that comment, bro. As soon as I got to the end of the first sentence, I was like, he was not 11 years old. We're gonna stop that right there. But interesting story, though, Dar. Very interesting, yet again.
Yo, hold on. Yo, you said, hold on. First of all, there's no way I believe he was 11. I think you're right about that, Ivan, because that's nuts.
Yeah, no.
That's
At
nuts.
6'3"? 6'3", throwing 85? For real, bro. Honestly, yo, it's funny you say that, but he's probably at an age where he's looking to start talking to colleges.
That's like some Danny Almonte shit. Remember Danny Almonte? He said he was 12 and he was like 16 pitching in the Little League World Series.
Yes, I remember that story.
Yeah, man. Nah, right. Hell no.
Yeah, a lot of another guy who a lot of people have said this about before. Now I don't know if this was true or not, but a lot of people say that Albert Pujols was older than his actual age because of how he aged.
Can I be honest with you? I don't think Juan Soto's 26.
You don't think he's 26?
Juan Soto was at least 30 years old.
Damn, dude.
Yo, hell no.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you're actually understanding where we're coming from because that's what they do. And like I said, no shade to the Dominican Republic and what they do for players of that caliber, like you said, Darl. But absolutely insane, man. Some of the things that they try to get away
Nah,
with
yeah,
are a
some
little
of that
too
is wild.
obvious.
Yeah, nah, some of it is wild. Juan Soto looks 26, lol. I'm 5 and 1 pitch. Nah, some of them, that was a big story. A couple like a year ago in the Athletic, where a lot of people were lying about their birth certificates and like their
Yeah,
ages,
it still is a problem.
and they revoked their contracts. Like a couple people have had their contracts revoked based on them lying about their age. Yeah, that was a story in the Athletic a couple years ago.
I think we're all on the same page when it comes to that story that was just shared.
I'm 7-7-2. Yeah, word, word. And no, but sometimes that's how it be feeling. Like you said, how was your man's? 20 what? Nah. Soto's 26, like I can see. Stop that.
Miguel Sano had that problem. Exactly. And,
I remember that.
where's Miguel Sano today? I don't even think he has a job
Nah, he doesn't.
that I know of.
Nah. But I remember when Miguel Sano was in his prime, the power that guy had was different.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be Big Papi from the right-hand side of the plate.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be that.
I thought it was going to be him and Vlad, the two Dominican first basemen taking shit over.
Yeah.
Running shit. Nah, man. Sometimes, baseball's a dirty game. And then you got these scouts promising these 12, 13, 14-year-olds contracts, like verbally agreeing, we'll sign you when you hit 16. So it's a cesspool on both sides. Like, let me lie about my age, but also let me get a scout to sign me so that I can feed my family. Because the other thing that we're not talking about is these kids come from really impoverished situations. So when you see somebody like a Juan Soto sign for what he signed for, yes, it's an exorbitant amount of money, but I understand why he took the chances he took and said, I'm going to bet on myself because I want to make the most money I can, because I don't want to go back to living in the slums. I don't want to go back to struggling, watching my mom struggle. So while I don't agree with how he went about doing it or getting the money, I understand why he did it.
Right. The crazy thing is, too, not all players get caught. I believe I wish there was a way for us to really know exactly who has gotten through the cracks, but some players do.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's why, to me, Major League Baseball has this. I laugh when people yell about the steroids and steroids are illegal and all that's bad, but yet you have literally this extortion happening on both sides, and we just brush that aside because it doesn't matter. But let's get mad at somebody using steroids.
Yo, I want to say one other thing, and I know we've said this to Darl, but one reminder again, constant reminder that we like to do here on the show is make sure you follow us on Instagram at 27outs3C, and also make sure you definitely like, comment, and share, subscribe, all that good stuff on the YouTube channel. Darl, man, I know you're still fairly young, and we met you here tonight, but I can only imagine what else this kid knows,
or what he's gonna see in the future.
He started off by telling us that he went to a World Series game. He followed it up with being able to watch a game in the Dominican Republic where he saw kids blow out their arms.
That's crazy, bro.
What else have you seen?
Or to make it better, what else are you going to see? Because I can't even imagine what the future is gonna look like for this kid.
Right.
That's the thing that I'm mesmerized with, is if you've seen all this at 22, imagine what you're going to see by the time you're 30. You know what I'm saying? We actually have a video about that.
Yes, we do, Shrek.
We have a video about that. Soto can buy the DR. Yo, literally,
He just might.
he can though if he really wanted to.
Yeah. Especially with the way he cares about his people, being big on family. I wouldn't be surprised if a story comes out and it says Juan Soto did something gigantic in DR for his people.
For sure, for sure. Like build an academy.
Yeah, it was. I think was it earlier this year, last season? I think Julio Rodriguez had like donated an ambulance to some hospital out there in DR. I don't even think they had one. I don't know if they did have one or if they were in need of more, but apparently that was huge over there.
Oh, Razor says the video about the City Connects is down. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, like you got Big Poppy used to give. He used to do like toy drives and food drives and all that. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is our resident City Connect guru. So this guy, if you want to know about City Connects and the history of City Connects, he's the guy you call. You know what I mean? Big Poppy built the hospital and Pedro built the school.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Anyway, speaking of incredible, we had a great time tonight, guys. If anybody got last minute comments they'd like to get off before we get out of here, I'd love to hear them. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking. And just know that if any other big news breaks, we'll be right back here doing this very same thing we did tonight, and we'll break it down with you guys. We'll chop it up.
Yeah.
By the way, there are 2 shorts on the channel right now. Anthony Santander, possible fit being with the Yankees, and there's another short that just came out today about Devin Williams. So if you want to check those 2 shorts out, get those numbers up for us, we greatly appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Shout out to you, TD. You've stuck around. I know day one wasn't that long ago for you, but you've been pretty consistent with rocking with us.
5 for 250 for Burns.
Damn. What's that? That's 50. That's 50 actually, right?
Nah, he ain't getting 50 million a year.
Yeah.
Like I think he settles for maybe 45, but 50 nah. 50, that's a little much. Cause he's already what, 30?
About.
Nah. Well, I have a few connections with the Pittsburgh Pirates Brew Crew. I want to join their staff and player development with the focus on pitching. Ah, man. Yo, if you do, we're going to be hitting you up for an interview, brother.
Yeah. Stay in touch. If you haven't subscribed yet, Daryl, we would love for you to actually do that so that you could stick around, not only for the purpose of the show's sake, but also for you and what you're doing. We'd like to know more about you as time goes on.
We
and like Stephen said, maybe we could have you on and you'll be able to share some more ridiculous stories with us. Maybe you'll be able to tell us about an 8-year-old that's throwing like 90.
It's insane. Hell no.
Yeah.
He said, sorry to swear, but no, you can curse on here, bro. You can curse on here. That's I'm not even, go ahead. Like I'm with that.
Hell to the no, no.
Yeah, don't hold your breath, bro. Also, my favorite is the Mariners one, the City Connect. Okay.
Yeah, those were good.
By the way,
the Philly City Connect was another good one too.
I want to do a video pretty soon, guys, about like Hall of Fame, because the Hall of Fame vote is coming up soon. Who gets in, who doesn't. I want to look at the ballot and like have our own discussion, who deserves it, who don't. I'd love to do that at some point. Ivan, if you're down for that, chat, if you're down for that, let us know. We can make it happen. Nah, 50 million is a little bit too much. 50 million is a different level of money.
He's probably saying that because of he knows who owns his team. That's the only reason why it would make sense. But even still, then it's ridiculous.
Because then, what does that say for the next guy that's younger than him that's looking to get paid? If you giving him $250 for 5, The next dude's gonna want 300 for 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Nah. Hall of Shame, LOL. Stop. Stop. Shrek, I'm starting to think you're just a parody account, bro. I think if it's a short term deal, I think he could get close to it.
He can get
Like
45.
if it's a 3-year deal for like 135, that's 45 a year. I think he could get close to that. But extended over a long period of time, no. 40 is my AAV for per. Yeah, I'm about there between 35 and 40. But if it's a lower AAV, I could see if it's a lower on the years, I could see the AAV going up. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, guys, since there's 11 of you guys in here watching, you know what I mean? I'm
Very possible. Yeah. I mean, had it not been for the season that Aaron Judge had, Bobby Witt Jr. would have been the MVP in the American League.
For sure. Since there's 11 you got 10 of you guys now, but there was 11 in here for a second. Throw a 10 in the chat, big up yourselves, and let's end the night on some, let's have some little bit of fun before we leave here.
Yeah, a few more minutes, guys.
He's getting over 30 million.
Nah, TD, how could you say that, dude?
He's getting over, and you giving Kyle Tucker 650?
Right.
Nah, hell no.
Nah, TD gotta be joking there. There's certain things that I've agreed with you to this point, but that's not one of them.
10 now. Yeah, man. We believe it. We believe it for sure. But
shout out to Shrek for saying that, man. That's dope. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Guys, this was fun. We had a blast. Thank the Yankees for trading for Cody Bellinger. And we hope to do this again real soon, man. We had a blast with you guys tonight. By the way, share the video. Show it to your friends, let them know that we were live tonight. Tell them to check us out. We could always use the traffic to the channel. Also, if there's a particular topic you guys want to talk about, hit the comments below, man. Let us know there's a topic I want to talk about, and we'll make it happen. Later, man. Yeah, but I don't necessarily believe in that case is applicable. This guy's been one of the best pitchers in the big leagues for the last 5
but
seasons.
not to bring him down to $30 million.
Nah, he's gonna get. Listen, man. the way pitching is being paid for nowadays, he's gonna get paid. If Max Fried just got 8 years, 218, he's gonna get at least 8 years between 230 and 240.
He thinks Burns will get 7 years at 225. I don't know, because especially with what you just said, Stefan, Max Fried got 218 for 8 years.
Yeah. And by the way,
Corbin Burns is
and his agent is Scott Boras. Mm-hmm. If you don't think Scott Boras wants to get close to the Garrett Cole number,
thank you for saying that, Rick. Spot on. Couldn't have said it better than that. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Razor with the killer comment right before we go off the air, so you get one of these. Know what I mean? You might have to get one of these too, because that was a killer comment by you. So shout out to you for that. But nah, man, this was fun. We ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here. What is Razor saying? What is Razor saying? He says 7 at 290. What is that per year, Razor? What does that come out to? 7 at 290.
I'm sure that is right around.
What is that, about 40?
Probably looking for anyway.
I don't know if he gets to 7 years, bro. I'm gonna be honest. The 7 years, because if he had a 7-year deal, he takes it already. You feel me?
Now I want to say a little something about what TD is saying right now. While you and I do disagree with him to a certain extent, what if, and this could be a possibility, what if maybe this is why the Orioles haven't been as aggressive as many people thought? Because maybe they know something. Maybe there's something that, and I know this stuff is tough to judge, but maybe 2, 3, 4 years from now. Maybe they see something coming up.
Mm-hmm. Who did the Yankees get for Soto? I mean, they got a draft pick technically, but
Yeah,
they
we didn't get anything. Soto was not a trade, actually.
Nah, yeah, he was a free agent, so he left in free agency. Yeah, they got a draft pick technically, but appreciate the comment though.
Yeah,
appreciate the comment.
Soto was a trade acquisition for the Yankees dating back to last offseason.
Yeah,
but him moving to the Mets now has nothing to do with trades.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, we here. I mean, listen, we got we're 10 minutes away from the 2 hour mark,
so we might as well just stay for the 2 hour mark.
How about this? Since we're 10 minutes away from making 2 hours on tonight's live, right? Comment the number 2 in the chat right now. If you want us to stick around for 10 more minutes just to chat with you guys about whatever, comment 2. Show
Put
us
the 2 in the chat right
now.
For sure. Throw them 2s up. No, they do. They get a draft pick. Yeah. They get one. Yeah.
All right. We got it.
That's 1, 2. Yeah, 3.
That 3 don't mean 3 hours now, TD. Slow down.
Numero dos. Nah, 3.
All right, we gonna stick around, y'all.
We in here, man.
Minutes.
But
bring up topics. You know, obviously, we always approach the show.
Yeah, throw something.
Our own ideas. But we also don't mind if it takes a left turn and we end up, just getting into what you guys want to.
Listen, man. Hit a top. Listen, if you got a topic that's interesting and you want us to stay and talk about it, hit us with a topic, bro. I'm here. We just don't want to get audience fatigue where you guys just end up.
This is funny by Rick. Imagine somebody being asked, say 2 in English without actually saying 2. A Jeter would be a good answer.
For sure. Here's the funny part, right? Like, if you could draft one player, and it has to be a player from the present. Let's go 90s. If you had to start a team with a player from the 90s, who are you starting with?
Wow. I think mine, and it's funny you actually asked that. We got people actually asking things that are relevant to today.
What do you guys think? I think Buehler gets a 3-year deal, a 2-year deal with an option for a third. I think he gets somewhere in the range of anywhere between 20 to 25, and I believe he signs with your hometown, Boston Red Sox. So I got Walker Buehler going to Boston. Can you see the Dodgers? Not in this current market, no.
No, I mean, I could see them still ending up with a Teoscar Hernandez or
that's
like
probably
that.
his. And even then, they're having issues because he don't want deferred payments on his contract. So he wants.
I'm glad he's putting his foot down, man, because the Dodgers, it just seemed like they were getting their way with a lot of guys when it came.
I think he wants his money straight up, so I don't think he's gonna settle for deferrals. TD says Pedroia or Pedro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine would be Alex Rodriguez. I know that was a name that TD mentioned earlier, just to kind of see how we felt about him as Yankee fans. But if we're dating back to the 90s and I had to pick one guy to build a team around, just pure talent alone, no PEDs, no ego, none of that BS that came with a younger version of Alex Rodriguez during those times. But just the talent itself, give me A-Rod.
I'm going to go with Griffey.
Griffey's a good one. Yeah.
I was torn between Griffey and Andrew Jones.
Okay.
Andrew Jones in the 90s was that dude. Hell yeah.
TD, you're funny, bro. No, so listen, I know it sounds like that's a nice one, Emilio. Roberto Alomar. He says I love Alex Rodriguez, or A-Fraud as he says. I once did, and listen, I was honest with what I said about him earlier, and that's not gonna change, like I'm becoming an older guy. A-Rod is an older guy now. I think how I feel about him is pretty much set in stone.
His value runs more like 6 years, 228 with the 7 year. Could be. If Vladdy is traded, where does he go?
If they do that, I want to start it off with they waited too goddamn
way
long.
too damn long to do
First
it.
and foremost, but
If he gets traded, I got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. going to the Seattle Mariners.
wow, that would be big for them.
That's a bat that kind of changes the trajectory of how you look at things, right? Like,
You see, but here's my thing, though. I feel like that would be very
Barry
similar
Bonds.
to the Kyle Tucker situation going to the Cubs, where you're going to a team who is not
Nobody-
even going to want to pony up what
See,
you
but
want.
what I'm saying is, right now, if you're the Blue Jays, would you rather let him go for nothing, or you want something in return for him?
Oh yeah, I'd love to get
It's-
my hands on a
it's-
couple of those arms that Seattle
Right.
got.
So
I'll
it's
take
not.
him.
It's not whether or not he signs an extension. It's whether or not you could just make a deal work for the moment. You know what I'm saying? San Fran, huh?
San
San Francisco's interesting because I don't know what they have to give up to get him though. I don't know if David Stearns makes a trade for a year. I think he signs there as a free agent, but I don't know if he ponies up the money to do it for a year.
Yeah, and I think it would make more sense for the Mets to handle that in free agency.
Wait till he becomes a free agent, yeah.
Yeah, knowing that
And-
you can just give him what he's asking for. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. When you get close to free agents, that's why Kyle Tucker's not. That's why I just brought the Kyle Tucker extension talks up to play devil's advocate. But there's no way on planet Earth Kyle Tucker signing an extension. Nowhere.
Yeah, if I were Vladdy Jr., I'd say rock
you wait
out,
till
have
free
a monster
agency, for
season,
sure.
and don't talk to anyone until November.
Yeah, pull a Juan
For real.
Soto. Change your number if you got to. Hell yeah.
That's crazy how that was another story that came out recently too. How he did that, insane. But
It's
it is
not
what it
insane.
is, man.
He
Listen,
just wanted.
it ain't one thing that I learned from you, Stefan. It ain't personal, it's strictly business.
just business, bro.
And I think that's how Juan Soto was moving.
That's how could not trade Vlad. If they give him 500 to 600 million, I have functioning legs and can walk down my block. The Toronto Blue Jays are not giving that man anywhere between 500 to 600 million. That's right. If they give him 500 to 600 million, I have functioning legs and can now walk. He don't want to be in Toronto. Toronto's not civilization to him. You got a Dominican stuck in Toronto where he's freezing. There's no Dominicans, means nowhere.
So just so we make this
Hell
clear,
no.
between Vladdy Jr. and the Toronto Blue Jays, the Blue Jays have already offered him a deal that was upwards worth of $340 million.
And he said no.
He said no.
Nah, hell no.
So that right there should already tell you that he's already looking at minimum, I would say, 400 mil plus. In
Easily.
my opinion.
And I think he clears it too. I think he clears it because I was Vladdy, what, 28?
Vladdy, I'm gonna tell you right now, Vladdy is he's 25.
Oh hell no. He might get close to 500 mil.
25 turning 26 on March 16th.
That's somebody the Red Sox should look at. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
and I'm sure, certain guys that we mentioned in the chat tonight, I'm sure he enjoyed watching Manny. I'm sure he enjoyed watching Big Papi, Pedro, all those guys.
Yo, Race, I'm lying. Tell me where you gonna find the Dominican in the middle of Canada.
In the sixth?
You know what I mean?
Ain't no Dominican
Hell no.
flags being flown out there.
Yo, you might find a French but you ain't finding the Dominican one. Hell no. Oh man.
It's possible.
You know what? That kind of fits though, because it fits because there's a lineage.
No Dominican chicks in the six.
You might have to fly one in every once in a while. That's like Robinson Cano going to Seattle. Ain't no type of Dominican action in Seattle.
For real.
No wonder why that brother was struggling to play out there. He like, damn, bro. I gotta wear flannel and eat fish all day.
And he ended up right back in New York with the Mets.
Shit. Lad don't want to pay double taxes. I wouldn't either. Shit. Hell no. Hell no. Right hand. Yo, he would be crazy in Fenway though. No funny. He would put up numbers at Fenway though.
You pair him up with Rafael Devers.
Yeah,
listen, that ain't Manny and Big Papi, but it's as close as you could
not
get.
Bad. And honestly, yo, with the young kids they got coming in Boston, I would not be surprised if at some point you start to see the Red Sox at least explore the possibility of trying to add more power.
Hey, not too much on the Pirates, man. They got a couple of guys who, if they're able to figure things out sooner rather than later, they might be able to do something with themselves.
You like honestly, yo, you know what sucks? Is they're the team that needs to spend money. With all the young pitching they got in Pittsburgh, how are you not spending money if you're the Pirates right now? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying spend crazy bread, but like. For example, right? Like, how are you not bringing in a veteran guy, like a Justin Tucker type of dude? A couple just veteran presences, just the veteran presence, just to be like, all right, bro, come in here, teach these guys how to win. Like, Teoscar would be perfect in Pittsburgh if they paid him. But they ain't going to pay him. You know what? That's a great point.
They better not.
I want to see what he looks like before you giving him any type of money.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but just because you got a rich owner, that doesn't mean that money like you want the money, but you want somewhere where you know once I sign this contract, I'm gonna be settled here for life and I got a chance to win. Like one place, I'm gonna be honest, that I can see Vladdy going. Boston, perfect spot for him. The Mets, another perfect spot for him. Maybe, see, if one of the Florida teams were good, like the Marlins always had a trajectory of attracting Latin ball players. Remember the offseason when the Marlins went crazy? They signed Mark Burley. They signed Jose Reyes. They signed...
And I believe they blew it all up like midway through that season.
Yeah, bro, that shit was
they played
quick.
That entire season with those guys.
Not at all, nah. And like, so I wonder if that's why they need a new stadium. Like one of the Tampa, if Tampa gets a new stadium, they could be in the mix. Paul O'Neill's clone stance-wise, but Paul O'Neill was a hell of a ball player. Toronto ain't wanting anyone trust before them. Yeah, nah, I would wait, bro. You're talking about a lot of money, and the guy. Listen, I understand what he's done in the minor leagues, but there's no way I'm extending him before I know what he is.
Yeah, and one key player I want to bring up, who. It's probably, maybe not even probably.
To the 14 people in here, what's up? What's up?
He is not going to see a big league field again. But Wander Franco, right? He was a guy who the Rays brought up. They saw him at the big league level. They saw what they liked. Mm-hmm. They gave him an extension, but it seemed like they didn't really know Wander Franco off the field. I know you never really know what guys are doing in their personal lives, but to give that guy an extension and to say, hey, you're going to be our main guy for the next X amount of years. And for him to end up being who he is now, I think a lot of teams rather, should give it a year, 2, maybe even 3 at the big league level and then commit.
Because you want to know when you give the guy this money that he can handle not only being a professional ball player, but he can handle being away from the field. Because that's a different level of temptation when you're 20, 21, 22, 23 years old. Like, the case study is the next guy is Jackson Chourio, Milwaukee. That's a guy that I'm looking at going, yo, young blood, how do you handle this? How do you handle being 22, 23? Now, granted, Milwaukee's not, New York or Philly or anywhere to get in real trouble, but Wander Franco got in trouble in Tampa with senior citizens all around him. So Imagine what you would do if you was in a bigger city. That's why, to me, signing a young guy to that type of money is dangerous. I'm talking about that. It scares me. And for the teams that do it, that's bold. But I understand why Tampa did it, because Tampa can't keep their stars. I understand why Milwaukee did it, because you usually can't keep guys like that. Look at what they had to go through with Corbin Burns, Devin Williams, all those dudes. Look at what the Mets had to go through. Listen, Pittsburgh is going to go through this real soon. Like, if you don't bring offense in here, Skeens is going to go. Jones is going to go. All
O'Neal
the guys,
Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz, all of those guys are going to be gone before you know it. And before you turn around, it's going to look like a completely different team. It's going to be very hard to stay, motivated. That I will agree with. Nah, I want to give the money to the proven dude, man. If it's me, I'm trying to give the money to the proven dude. They project 30, 40 homers, 290 to 330, 25 as a wait. And he's supposed to be what is his position? TD.
He's an outfielder.
He's an out. Yeah, projections are nice, but that doesn't mean it's going to translate to the big league level.
Right.
Projections and what translates are very, very different. It's very different. So while I understand that point, and I don't disagree with the thought. He's a center fielder. Wow.
Yeah, this Rick's comment prior was a good one here.
Yeah.
I would, listen.
I
I
would
know
agree.
TD, you're a Red Sox fan. Not saying that you're giving into what the Red Sox are aiming to do with Roman Anthony.
Yeah.
But you want to see him do it first, bro.
Yeah,
Gotta let him do it.
You gotta let him at least get his feet wet at the big league. And Boston's a difficult market for young guys, man. It's a difficult market for young. All the northeastern markets, there should be like a 3-year trial period before you know what you have. Like for me, I'm gonna be honest. If Anthony Volpe has a good year next year, I'm giving Anthony Volpe an extension. Because you've been in the big leagues 3 years. You win the World Series last year. You're good defensively at short. Your bat is a little light, but we could work on that because you're only, 23? That's a guy you extend because he can handle New York. He's not going to embarrass you. He's not going to embarrass himself. He's not going to embarrass the city. That's a guy you give the money to. 1 year is tough, man. I need to see at least 2 to 3 years. Yeah, Shrek, we in here. You got something?
We're gonna wrap up soon though, because Shrek, I don't know if you left before we said it, but we had asked everyone to comment, twos in the chat as a way to let us know that they wanted us to stay on for a little longer. But we went over. Not that we're complaining, but
no, we went over. Nah,
you
we
guys are obviously keeping us occupied.
We getting love, man. So what would you rather do, Ivan? If it was you extending Crochet or you giving the kid bread?
Which would I rather do first? I would rather figure out that situation, the extension rather with Garrett Crochet first.
I'm there
because with Roman Anthony, like for me, I understand what they're thinking about in advance, but that doesn't even become a reality until this guy is at least like 2 full seasons into the
bro.
I would say.
I would give him a 10-year deal with I don't know, bro. 10 years? 10 years is a lot. I would at least have an opt-out in there somewhere. Pitchers, no doubt. Like, yo, let me ask you a crazy question. And I know we said we're gonna leave, but it just popped in my head. If you're the Pirates, are you trying to lock up Paul Skeens right now?
That's a good point. However, now I do think that they should be thinking about that, considering what Paul Skeens did in his rookie season. And I already shared with you, Stefan, what I think he's going to do in 2025 and beyond.
Lord willing, if he's healthy.
If Paul Skeens is a smart man, and boy, do I hope he is that. I think he says no to whatever it is that the Pirates offer him.
No, but you at least got to offer it, no?
No, of course you do it, but now on Paul Skeens' end is like, thank you, but no thanks. Like I'm just gonna ride out, with however many years I have left, but I'm just not interested in what you guys are offering because I just know what is gonna be at the other end of this contract that I have with you guys.
So here's the thing: if somebody offers Paul Skeens this 10 years, 300 million,
It's tough, man. Listen,
That's-
listen. Even if I was a player, I think I would give in and say yes. So I understand. And listen, even if it's not 300, right? Because we've talked about deals where guys have been locked up long term and they're earning far less than what they should be earning.
yeah, you're right.
Like that's why I'm saying it.
The crazy thing is, I think this is gonna be like on the cheaper side. When it's all said and done, I think this deal's on the low end of what he could get. You're probably looking at 10 years more like 400 million, 450.
For a pitcher is insane.
Look at but he's different, bro. That guy, his ERA and what he said, like 20 starts, Ivan, his ERA was 1.96. I think you at least got to think about it.
I think he finishes 2025 with like over 300 plus strikeouts, ERA in the mid twos, probably somewhere between like, I don't know, I'd say like 170 innings to 200 innings. I don't really think he goes beyond that because pitching more than 200 innings nowadays is asking for a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see him finishing 2025 with the Pittsburgh Pirates, having those numbers. For real.
I'll move Paul Skeens ASAP. Yo, he's going to get paid, bro. If he's healthy, he's going to get paid. And one of the big dudes are going to give it to him, like the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers. Somebody with a big market feel is going to give it to him. Because he pitched at LSU. Pitching at LSU in college baseball is like pitching for the Yankees in Major League Baseball. Yo, you think we take baseball seriously in the majors? Yo, college baseball to these folks down there? LSU, Vanderbilt. College baseball is like a religion to those people down there. It's real. Yeah, for sure. I like Skeens. He would get traded in a couple years, a couple decent players, but not enough to make a real playoff run right now. Yeah, they would get, oh my God, the haul they could get for him will change their whole existence. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. Anyway, we stood longer than we said we were going to. Thank you guys for rocking with us. This was a fun time. We had a blast. Throw a thumbs up in the chat for yourselves for rocking with us for this long. We appreciate y'all.
One last time before we go. For those of you who are still here, right before we go, make sure you follow us on Instagram at 27outs3c. If you're new here, which we've noticed some of you are, we appreciate the newcomers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As Stefan mentioned, shout out to the Yankees for, actually trading for Cody Bellinger, which is why we were here tonight. But aside from that, any last words, Stefan? If not, then you know what it is.
Nah, man. No last words from me. We ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here. So peace.